In this lesson, we're going to learn about sketching the graphs of quadratic functions. So, if you are asked to sketch the graph of the function y equals 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 1. So the first thing that we need to think of is the zeros or the roots of the function. So the zeros or the roots are the points where the graph cuts the x-axis, or it's where the y value is 0. So to find the zeros, so this is the first step, is the zeros. So to find the zeros, we need to equate the function to 0 because the y value here is 0. So I will get 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 1, and that is equal to 0 because the y value is 0. I will divide by 2 and 0 by 2, so I will get x plus 3 times x minus 1 is 0. So to find the zeros, I equate the first bracket to 0 and the second bracket to 0. So x plus 3 is equal to 0, so x is minus 3, and x minus 1 equals to 0, so x is 1. So that's step number 1. Now step number 2 is to find the y-intercept, or it's the point where the graph cuts the y-axis or the x value is 0. So to find the y-intercept, I will equate the x value to 0, so I will get y equals 2 times 0 plus 3, which is 3, times 0 minus 1, which is minus 1. So 2 times 3 times minus 1 is minus 6. Now, the third step is to find the axis of symmetry, and the axis of symmetry is the same as the x-coordinate of the turning point. Now, the turning point here is a minimum point because the coefficient of x squared is positive. So I will expect a graph that looks like this. So this would be the shape of my graph. Now, how do I know? So what I need to do is I have to expand the function. So I have y equals 2 times. Now let's expand x times x and x times negative 1. So x times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. Then 3 times x and 3 times negative 1. So 3 times x is plus 3x. And 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. So y is 2 times x squared minus x plus 3x is plus 2x minus 3. So y is 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. Now, if we look at the coefficient of x squared, which is the number that is beside x squared, it's 2. So it's 2, and since it's more than 0, so the turning point is a minimum point, and the shape will look like the shape that I just drew. Now, how to find the axis of symmetry, or the x-coordinate of the minimum point? So this is step 3. So x is negative b over 2a. So negative b is negative 4, and b is the coefficient of x, which is 4, and 2a is 2 times 2, which is 4, because a is the coefficient of x squared, which is 2. So negative 4 over 2 times 2, the answer is negative 1. So that's the x-coordinate of the turning point, which is a minimum point. Now, how to find the y-coordinate? I simply substitute x equals negative 1 into the function. So I will get y equals 2 times. Now, negative 1 plus 3 is 2, and negative 1 is negative 2. So the y value is 2 times negative 2, which is equal to negative 8. So the point, or the minimum point, its x-coordinate is negative 1, and its y-coordinate is negative 8. Now, after I finished all these steps, I can sketch the graph. So this is the y-axis. This is the x-axis. So the zeros are negative 1 or negative 3 and 1. So negative 3 and 1. So this is 1, and this is negative 3. Now the minimum point is negative 1 and negative 8. So let's say that negative 1, negative 8 is somewhere here. And the y-intercept is negative 6, so it's just above the minimum point. So let's say it's here. So now I can sketch the graph. So it will look something like that. So that would be my my graph. So the zeros are 1, negative 3, the y-intercept is negative 6, and the minimum point is negative 1, negative 8. So that's the shape of the quadratic function y equals 2 times x plus 3 times x minus 1.